Almost every one of us will buy a car, possibly even several cars in our lifetime. It's one of the largest purchases many of us will make. And as we're about to show you, there are a few folks in the automotive industry who breed fraud, deceit, and there are some dealers who will do just about anything to make a sale. Tonight, our hidden camera investigation reveals how one of the most trusted sources of information on car accidents is being used by dealers to deceive customers into buying cars that have been involved in major crashes. In some cases, they're unsafe to drive. Zenobia Winstead is a typical college student. She's short on cash, but big on dreams. And it was her dream of owning a luxury car that drove her to Ultra Cars of Roswell, where the dealership was advertising a 2004 Lexus for $12,000, a luxury deal for the same price she'd pay for a standard car.
At the time, the price was really good.
Blinded by the sheen of the rows and rows of luxury cars at Ultra Cars, she signed the papers and bought her dream car. Did you ask them, has this car been in an accident?
I did ask, and they said no. And that's why they gave me the Carfax report saying that this car is in good condition.
But Zenobia says she's had nothing but troubles since she drove off the lot, including lights on the dashboard warning of possible dangers to come.
God forbid I'm in an accident, whoever's in the passenger seat, their airbag is not going to deploy.
What we're about to show you is what really frightened her. Not only has this car had mechanical problems, but unknown to Zenobia, it's been in a major wreck, causing structural problems that not only devalue the car, but also may be a major risk in an accident.
I'm driving around in a lemon, basically.
This is where Zenobia's car and more than 9.5 million cars are bought and sold each year at auto auctions like this one. Like the dealerships, we were able to watch the bidding online. Each car goes through a multi-level engine, transmission, and accident inspection before the vehicle is ever placed on the auction block. Any damage is disclosed to the dealers in advance. They are forewarned of potentially risky deficiencies in the car's frame and structure before they place their bid. The question is, will they disclose that damage to you?
This is no accident, clean car. It's just that the auction, they'll paint the bumpers.
CBS Atlanta News took our hidden cameras into Ultra Cars to see if they would reveal the truth about cars that had been in major accidents.
We don't keep anything with frame damage, no flood cars. That's not, what we're in business for.
Time after time, salesman Craig Bernard assured us these cars were damage-free.
This one does have a clean Carfax?
It does have a clean Carfax, and everything matches. There's no paint work on the vehicle.
His promises were backed up with a clean Carfax. But what the salesman failed to tell us was each of these vehicles was purchased at auction. And in each of these cases, they were announced as having frame damage.
Don't buy anything that's been in any major accidents, but if it does show an accident, we show that in the Carfax and we disclose that information to you.
But Ultra Cars didn't disclose the damage. In fact, they provided clean Carfaxes, which would lead most customers to believe the car had never been in a wreck. But we discovered every one of them was in a crash and announced at auction as having major damage. It's all laid out in an AutoCheck report. A competitor to Carfax, AutoCheck discloses damage discovered at auto auctions. In black and white, we had evidence the cars being shown to us as accident-free had frame damage. To confirm our concerns, we took it one step further and test drove the cars to an independent mechanic and auto body expert, Steve Powell.
Is it safe to drive? I wouldn't want to drive it knowing what I see about this.
This BMW had a clean Carfax, but the AutoCheck report we obtained revealed at auction it was announced as having frame damage. Again, we were told by Ultra Cars it had never been in an accident.
That's a crack right in the structure. I mean, this is a serious problem.
Our mechanic found undeniable evidence of a wreck so extreme. He says the car was repainted all the way from the front to the back.
It could have been as a result of the front impact being hit so hard that they had to blend this far back.
And as far as safety,
that's not safe. If it were to really get into a bad impact, something really bad could happen.
Out of the 3 cars we took to Powell, he said 2 were in such bad condition he wouldn't recommend anyone to buy them.
If you own the car and you don't know this kind of damage is there, you're at risk.
This black Lexus, also bought at auction, was hit from behind. The AutoCheck disclosed the damage, But again, the Carfax said it was accident-free. The wreck was still obvious because, as Powell pointed out, even though it was cosmetically covered up,
they've put a new bumper on it.
The car's frame was never fixed.
The rear structure of the car is not intact, and it needs to be corrected.
As part of our month-long investigation, we documented a pattern of crashed cars being sold by Ultra Cars. It wasn't just 1 or 2 vehicles, but 45 cars on the lot at one time that had significant reported damage, found here in an auto check report. So we contacted Carfax to get their response. Representative Larry Gamache flew down to Atlanta to speak with us about our report. Are these Carfaxes wrong?
No, these Carfaxes are not wrong.
But they're not reporting all the damage.
We say on every single Carfax vehicle history report that there is no way for us to be able to tell consumers about every accident that's occurred in a car's past.
Gamache confirmed Carfax does not get a damage report from the main auto auctions, a major gap in their reporting, since some dealers say they get as many as 90% of their used cars from auction.
Carfax was the first company to make vehicle history information available to consumers.
But I don't necessarily think that means that it is the most accurate. I don't think it means it's the most comprehensive. But Gamache defends Carfax as the most comprehensive source on vehicle accident history and says these car dealers are trying to make a buck and using Carfax to do it.
I think people who do that are, actively trying to deceive the consumers.
When we went back to Ultra Cars, we confronted salesman Craig Bernard with cameras rolling. You've showed me several cars here that had damage on it, and what you gave me was a clean Carfax, and you didn't disclose the damage on the vehicles. Bernard, who had previously assured us they didn't buy frame-damaged cars, was short on words. Instead of answering our questions, Ultra Cars called the cops. I want to know why you didn't disclose the damage. Are you purposefully deceiving the customers here? We were issued a no trespassing warning when we tried to speak with a manager. I'd just like to make sure that the manager has my card so that he can contact me. The officer removed us from the property and cautioned us not to come back.
He asked me to give you a criminal trespass warning.
Okay.
So that if you come back here, then you go to jail.
But State Representative Tom Rice of Norcross
they should be in jail.
And used car board chairman Jeff Wilkinson say it's the actions of this dealer that could be criminal.
We can take the license if there's enough proof that some of this is going on.
In Georgia right now, there are no disclosure laws to require dealers to reveal even major known damage to the cars they sell.
They're manipulators. That's exactly what they are.
And that means there may be no recourse for victims like Zenobia.
We should have laws that protect the consumers, and we don't.
Do you think that dealers should be required to disclose if there is major known damage to a vehicle?
I think they should. I think they should if they know for a fact.
Wilkinson says he will investigate Ultra Cars and potentially pull their license.
It's bad. They ought not be dealers.
Representative Tom Rice, who is chairman of the House Motor Vehicle Committee, is going one step further.
I think the legislature has an appetite for this type of a change.
Rice says he's now looking at ways to change Georgia's laws, requiring dealers to disclose accident damage and criminally prosecuting them if they don't.
Frankly, I think that's hard to defend, that type of behavior. And the bill ought to have a disclosure portion to it that says that there is a requirement for a disclosure if, in fact, there is reported damage on a car.
The automotive disclosure law won't be introduced until next year. The best way to protect yourself is always to have a car checked out by a mechanic before you buy. And in an effort to help protect you, both AutoCheck and Carfax are offering our viewers free vehicle history reports for the next 5 days. To find out if your car has any major reported problems, just log on to our website at cbsatlanta.com and click on the Investigates page for your free report.